Hey, what's going on, guys and gals? I think I'm gonna run down to the big water, the river, and throw around like some soft plastic spy baits. Like a swim bait with the Okashira screw lock head. And I want to throw around some square bills and some lipless on some mono, because I really didn't get a chance to do that the other day in my previous topwater video because I was catching fish throwing topwater. So yeah, come on, let's go fishing. So guys, this is the third and final destination we're gonna try and fish, which was the same body of water that was in my previous video, the topwater featuring the Whopper Plopper 75. So if you've seen that video, you know that this little beaver pond, flood control, glorified ditch for a pond, holds big bass. Not as big as the one next to it, which is currently covered over completely with like a algae that reminds me of split pea soup. You can punch through it. However, in the heat of the summer, I don't fish it because as much as I've dragged frogs across there and whatnot, they're just really hard to locate in the summer when, you got 90-degree days. The water temp is pretty uncomfortable for these fish, and they're just hard to locate. They're obviously hunkering down either in undercut banks or in like deep little holes of the little pond that I can't get to. So once fall gets here and we start getting some cooler nights, that split pea soup starts to break up, and then eventually it'll be pretty much gone and it'll be open water. And I will say this is why I bass fish year round, because that other pond, the split pea soup pond, is one of the best cold water bass fisheries I've ever fished. There's spotted bass in there, there's largemouth, and there's big largemouth and big spots. The only thing is that in late spring, the catfish guys, it's all trout and catfish where I live, and then I think bass comes third, or maybe trout, catfish, and walleye, and bass comes fourth, because these people, these big rivers hold some gigundous walleye, and we'll do some episodes on that in the winter too. So, but this is usually where I quiet my step, and welcome to the microcosm of the beaver pond. And even all this vegetation thins out too. Thing is, this isn't that deep at all compared to the other pond. But let's do some shallow square billing. And I did change baits. My finesse bait is now the Megabass Spark Shad 3-inch on the 1/8 ounce Berkeley Fusion 19 swim bait head. So let me set my rods down, get set up. I'm just gonna leave it rolling. Try to bring it a little closer than I had it the other day. And then I'm gonna stop it just to make some zoom adjustments. Also guys, since I'm trying to impersonate bluegill, that's their forage in here, I switched to the Bill Lewis. I can't remember the model number, forgive me, but it's like a 2.0 square bill. So, and I am still square billing on 14-pound Suffolk Siege monofilament. But I am going to start with the Megabass swim bait because I feel it's less intrusive, kind of more subtle, and then we'll get to cranking. Yeah, look at that, guys. How's that? He was sitting in weight, wasn't he? Hey, buddy, I haven't caught you before. You don't look like you've been caught before. Hold on, boss. Hold on, boss. See? How you doing, friend? You alright? You been eating good? Looks like you've been eating good. It's a nice largemouth to start us out, huh? Yeah, cool. Let me get a little fish brain pick real quick. Hold on, bud. I'm constantly having to wash my phone screen because I always got fish slime on it from taking pictures, which is a good thing. Well, that's a good start. Keep going. And see, that's another thing too I did, guys, is where I got my drag down pretty good. That way, with this rod being so soft, it's just gonna load up and do most of the work as far as setting the hook. You know what I mean? I don't have to like reel set or anything. It's just gonna load up and that hook's gonna penetrate. Especially if I, you know, do a sweep. So, make sure my bait's back in rigged up fashion, and we will keep going. And guys, too, that's another thing I like about these Fusion 19 swim bait heads is the keeper. The way they design the keeper, you can get more than one catch without your swim bait being tore up. See, you can't even tell I caught anything on it yet. I mean, it's perfect. So let's keep going. You know, one thing I learned from Matt Allen is, as far as, you know, if bluegill is the main forage, instead of buying, let's say, and I love Savage Gear, not picking on Savage Gear, but a bait that's shaped like a bluegill, which is hard for a bass to get down his throat. Now, don't get me wrong, they eat them, they love them. But a big bluegill, unless it's a really big bass, is still hard for him to get down his gullet. Whereas if you're throwing baits that are bluegill colored instead of shape, they're more likely to just identify with the color pattern and, okay, it's a swimming bait, it looks like a bluegill, must be a bluegill. You know, they're not going to sit there and dissect the shape because they don't have the mental capacity for that. And one more thing about that fish catch. Did you guys notice that the hook point was in his bottom jaw and not his top? A lot of these predator fish, they'll spin their fish around in their mouth because they don't want that big top fin that stands up on the top of their backs to rake their throat while they're trying to swallow it. So they spin them. Walleye do it too. All the bass species do it. And that's why he was hooked in the bottom jaw, because he had already spun my bait to swallow it. Yep. Dang turtle. Let go. Buddy, I'm gonna help you, whether you're hooked in a paw or what. Just come on. Quit making a run. You're not going anywhere, dude. Dang, not what I wanted to happen. Believe me, guys, I'm not worried about losing a 30-cent swim bait head in a freaking 50-cent bait. It's the point of, I got hemostats in my bag. If he was hooked in the paw or in the mouth or whatever, I was gonna set him free. Now he's gotta like use rocks and like rub that hook out somehow, and that's a lose-lose for me and him. I mean, not that he knows I was gonna help him, he was in survival mode, but man, it's just a shame. I'm not a sadist. I love wildlife and these fish and all the creatures that live around here. Let me tie another one on. Be right back. Well, guys, I'm back home now, and you know, I just want to make the theme of this video known to you guys is that, you know, adjustments on the fly are key. I went to 3 different fishing spots and just none of them are panning out. I went to the big river and the jet skiers and all the pleasure boaters were waking me out. I came back down towards my house, another spot on the river that has some ponds behind it. Tried the big river there, and the jet skiers followed me all the way down there, and it was like, man. So I went back in the back and was able to get that one until Mr. Turtle, as you saw, took my swim bait, and then I guess I made a bad choice by going to the rage swimmer because I did end up not getting bit on that. So but I just want you guys to know that, you know, making adjustments on the fly, whether it's spots, whether it's the spot on the body of water you're fishing, and adjustments on your baits. If you're on the bank and you're not catching anything in that spot, move. That's the whole, one of the great benefits of being on the bank. If you're casting to spots where you know it just looks bassy and you're not getting bit, change your bait. If you're throwing something that's got a rattle in it, go to something silent. If you're throwing something that's bright and an unnatural color, go to a natural color. Just, you know, always start with, if you're throwing crankbaits and you're throwing something with the rattle, what I do before I change color is I go to a silent bait. And then I work my way around from there. But yeah, adjustments are key, man. It's not about getting frustrated because, you know, we are visitors to these places. These aren't our bodies of water to where we can say, hey, jet skiers, beat it. Or, hey, Mr. Groundhog, don't do that. I'm getting snagged on all your limbs, and that don't happen. We are visitors there. So not only do we got to clean up after ourselves, but we got to respect where we're at. We are visitors. It's their home. It's those fish's home. It's the wildlife's home. It's not ours. So let me get off my high horse here. I'm not preaching. I'm just saying. Hope you were able to get something out of this video. I got a big outing tomorrow on my buddy Dave's boat. We are going to be flipping trees and throwing some crankbaits and stuff like that. So I will be bringing the camera, and hopefully I'll have some footage of some nice catches. But until then, I will see you on the next one. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment too. Tell me what's going on. Peace.